Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Bird's Nest Podcast. I'm Joe Donahue. Thank you so much for joining us. Public practice just wrapped up here at Lincoln Financial Field, and that means that fans from around the Philadelphia area and really from around the Eagles fandom got their first opportunity to see this Philadelphia Eagles team in earnest doing their practice. It's going to be the only opportunity that fans have to see them in a general sense since the practices are closed at NovaCare Complex. Here at Lincoln Financial Field, the stadium was rocking. Fans were showing up supremely early. Fans were lining up. They had plenty of activities. They had plenty of ways to keep fans engaged, whether it was getting the opportunity to dunk Brent Selleck in a dunk tank or getting the opportunity to meet some Eagles alumni and get some autographs or get some face painting or what have you. This was a whole event, really a way to get fans engaged with this team in, again, the only opportunity that fans will have to see this team in practice in general. Now, for the practice itself, there was a lot of really good things that I saw, and there was a lot of things that definitely need improvement. For just based off of what I was looking at, the Eagles defense really owned practice today. The Eagles defense wound up actually winning the number of conversion versus scoring opportunities. 12-9 was the final score in that regard. And the Eagles defense actually really made it difficult for the first string offense to get any kind of conversions on third or fourth downs. So the Eagles defense really does deserve a lot of props. Now, as it comes to Jalen Hurts, he was actually doing really well. There were a lot of good things for him. There were definitely some mistakes. So these are obviously things that are going to be worked on. In particular, Nolan Smith was a big tormentor of Jalen Hurts. Nolan Smith was able to get to Jalen Hurts, gave him a sack earlier in practice, and then also during team drills delivered a pick six. So Nolan Smith was routinely in the backfield. Same thing with Quinyon Mitchell, who also was in the backfield as well. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean both did really well in the corner spots. Q in particular was able to flush Hurts during drills multiple times, so he was very much a presence there. At the same time, when Jalen Hurts was able to connect with his receivers, they did really well on the whole. There was a Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith touchdown that occurred, as well as a number of conversions that relied on him. And it was also good to see Will Shipley get some first-team reps as well. Will Shipley is looking like he's going to be the number 2 running back just based off of this practice alone, which is the only practice that I've had the opportunity to see. Other receivers farther down the roster that were worth mentioning were Darius Cooper and Taylor Morin. Both of those guys were relatively present in this practice. Darius Cooper had some third down conversions and was really present among the second string teams. So it was definitely something that I like to see him building off of, especially following the preseason game where he had a really good preseason game against the Bengals. Similarly, Taylor Morin was able to get a number of good receptions, a number of good separations. He was able to actually haul in a touchdown from Tanner McKee, which is awesome. So again, it looks like those guys are doing really well. So while we talked about the defense and many positives, there were definitely some concern areas. In particular, the cornerback battle still does seem very wide open. I was particularly disheartened when Kelly Ringo got flagged for defensive pass interference, trying to break up a pass early. That was definitely not a good look for him. And it continues on this thing of we'll see whether or not the Eagles are really going to stick with Jacorian Bennett or if there's somebody who was already on the roster that they're going to hang out with. But definitely there was nothing in this practice today that really caused me to say, hey, the cornerback battle is still this person's, or there was a real standout there. One important thing to watch after practice is actually an injury that occurred, and it's a pretty notable one. Landon Dickerson got injured late in the practice. It was during the team drills. He had to get helped off of the field, and ultimately he wound up getting carted to the locker room. Now, we obviously don't know the full details of what's going on there, but this is definitely something to watch, and certainly we hope that he is okay and he's able to get back to the field soon because the Eagles need him. The Eagles obviously have a good offensive line, and there are certainly players that could fill in for Landon Dickerson, but Landon Dickerson has been a real presence on that starting front five, and certainly we hope that he is okay. Now, I don't know whether or not this was done in previous years, but friend of the show and Eagles insider Dave Spadaro emceed the event, which is not new. But what is new is that on third down and fourth down, Dave also served as the hype man. So he was really trying to drum up the crowd, really trying to encourage them to say, hey, like, get loud. The Eagles offense in particular wanted to make sure that they were dealing with a loud environment, and certainly the Eagles defense can benefit from that as well. But you got to see this team in action, especially the first stringers in a practice setting, and there's definitely a lot of good to come out of this, and you can tell just by watching that this team is locked in. Everybody was working hard, everybody was competing, and hopefully that translates to continued success on the field this year. But as always, let me know what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts? If you were at public practice today, what were your thoughts about it? What stood out to you? Were there anything that I missed? Let me know. And thank you so much to everyone for tuning into the Bird's Nest podcast. You can support the Bird's Nest podcast by liking and subscribing to Bird's Nest Media right here on YouTube, as well as by sharing to your social media pages. You can also find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, the Odyssey app, and iHeartRadio. Please visit birdsnestmedia.com for additional Eagles and NFL coverage. And if you feel so inclined to support us in a different way, you can find the link to our Patreon in the description below or at birdsnestmedia.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's go Eagles.